For years, we've seen how our entertainment has been filled with countless stories and interpretations of Greek mythology, and even though most of the time it's not painted the way the ancient Greeks actually told it, there is one specific topic that is almost never discussed: how it all began. Hey there, I'm Rafa, welcome to Lorches, and today we're talking about the creation myth according to the ancient Greeks. In this video, we will talk about just one of the hundreds of interpretations regarding the Greek creation myth. This means that some details might differ from stories that you heard before, but even today, it is impossible to know which interpretation is the correct one, or if there is even a correct one at all. In the end, only the details change. In the beginning of everything, there was only one thing, and that was chaos. Chaos wasn't the disaster and anarchy we perceive it as today, but rather the literal nothingness that inhabited the universe. The Greeks weren't the first to give a name to the literal void, and they wouldn't be the last, just as they aren't the only mythology that paints how out of little or nothing something could be created. And this something was the five primordial gods: Gaia, Tartarus, Eros, Nyx, and Erebus. More than gods, these entities were the physical universe itself. Gaia is the earth, literally. Everything you see out of the window is Gaia. That's why the Greeks referred to Earth as a woman, a custom later adopted by the Western world. We also have Tartarus, the kingdom beneath Gaia, the equivalent of hell, but without a devil or souls inhabiting it yet. Then we have Aether. Despite not being the sky, he represents everything about it, mainly the light of the world. Curiously, this god of light is the son of Nyx and Eros, who represent darkness and night. But let's be specific. Yes, Nyx represents the night, but she isn't static. Nyx moves between Tartarus and Aether, changing her position every 12 hours. Hemera, the goddess of the day, not the sun, but the day itself, does the same thing in reverse. If Nyx is in Tartarus, Hemera is in Aether, condemned to never see each other again. Erebus is a strange case. He is darkness, not the night, not the underworld, simply the lack of light. A shadow is Erebus, a cave too. It is said that at the borders of all primordials, Erebus surrounds his siblings with a dense mist, marking the limits of everything by himself. And finally we have Eros. He is love and sexual attraction. The curious thing is that back then no one else existed, so while his uncles and sisters were very busy, he simply watched them work with nothing to do. And that is how the Greeks explain the origins of the earth. These primordial gods had a lot of children. The planets, the stars, everything were children of them. But the most important ones for the ancient Greeks are the children of Gaia. As you might have noticed, one very important thing was still missing: the sky, whose name was Uranus. He became the first son and, curiously, also the husband of Gaia, his mother/wife. And yes, as you may already know, this mythology has a lot of incest. Gaia and Uranus began to have many children. This will be the first not to represent a part of the universe, but to inhabit it. The Titans, the Cyclops, and the Hecatonchires are among them. But since none of them are representations of the same universe, Uranus sees them as horrible beasts. To hide said atrocities, the sky decided to put them inside Gaia, literally, inside his own mother/wife. Gaia, being a mother, suffered physically and was offended that Uranus despised her children so much. So, in an act of defiance, she took her youngest son, Cronus, and gave him a sickle to kill his father. Cronus faced Uranus, and in the middle of the fight, he managed to cut off his genitals. Yes, his father's balls. Badly wounded, Uranus flees, and although many scriptures says that Uranus dies, others assure this couldn't happen since, well, we still have a sky above our heads, right? But anyway, after this, Cronus frees his Titan brothers, but he leaves the Cyclops and the Hecatonchires inside Gaia because he also thinks they are abominations. The now Supreme Titan and his brothers decide to live in the Aether, because living in the sky, well, it would be very awkward with his dead but not dead father, right? Once they settle there, they create the first humans, starting the first of 5 species, the golden age of humans, who were perfect and immortal to old age, but still mortal to wounds. Thanks to his Titan brothers and his sickle, Cronus became master of everything. He marries his sister, Rhea, But before procreating, Gaia tells him that because he didn't free all his brothers, his destiny will be the same as his father's, being overthrown and killed by his children. So, every time that Cronus and Rhea have a child, well, he just ate them. Here we start hearing common names that a lot of people would know. The first 5 children are devoured: Hades, Demeter, Hera, Hestia, and Poseidon. Frustrated, Rhea asks Gaia for advice. They conclude that Rhea should replace her new child with a stone-wrapping cloth. Incredible as it seems, well, Cronus falls for the trap, and Rhea kept safe the only one child who will lead the last attack against Cronus: Zeus. Rhea hid her son in a cave inside Gaia, raised by a goat named Amalthea, and after growing strong and training a lot, Zeus was ready to free his siblings. Metis, one of Cronus' sisters and Zeus' aunt, helps her nephew with a potion to make his father vomit. Zeus disguises himself as a servant, serves the poison in wine, and the great titan vomits up all his children, who were now grown adults for some reason and never died inside his father. But anyway, taking advantage of their father's weakness, the 6 siblings escape. They aren't strong enough to kill Cronus yet, but that was about to change. Knowing they couldn't defeat the Titan alone, the 6 siblings that now call themselves the Olympians decide to free their uncles trapped in Gaia, the Cyclops and the Hecatonchires, finally fulfilling Gaia's wish. Grateful, they forge 3 powerful artifacts. Poseidon gets the trident, Zeus gets the lightning bolt, and Hades gets the helm of invisibility. But Cronus still had the Titans and the Golden Age humans on his side. However, Prometheus, brother of Cronus, abandons the Titans and joins his nephews. Being a Titan, he creates more humans, but since he was alone, they weren't as impressive as the Golden Age ones. Thus, the humans of the Silver Age were born. But what was their problem? Well, they took 100 years to mature. And the solution? Well, let's just wait for them. The saddest part is that after 100 years waiting, the Silver Ones were rebels and refused to worship the Olympians, though they still helped to fight the Titans. This war, the Titanomachy, lasted 10 bloody years, but in the end, the Olympians won. Cronus is murdered, the Golden Age humans are annihilated, the rest of the Titans are sentenced to Tartarus, and Atlas, the biggest of the Titans, is condemned to forever hold the universe on his shoulders. After the victory, Poseidon, Hades, and Zeus divide the world, leaving their sisters out of the party. The sea was for Poseidon, Olympus for Zeus, and the Tartarus for Hades. Enjoying great power, Zeus decides to annihilate the Silver Age humans because they refuse to worship them. Although technically, since Prometheus was the uncle of the Olympians, humans and gods were cousins. But anyway, it is said that the Silver humans didn't venerate the gods because they saw the Golden humans being treated by the Titans as equals. So, if they were also humans, why reduce themselves to servants of the Olympians? But anyway, the point is that the Earth had no humans again. So, looking for more, Zeus turns to Prometheus to create another race again, and these ones were the Bronze Age humans. These humans were warriors and also very wild. They decided to worship the gods, but also were very defiant of them. So much so that after a very famous incident with their father, Prometheus, Zeus strips them of fire. But Prometheus steals it back. Angry by the defiant not only by the humans but also from the Titan, Zeus orders the creation of Pandora, a woman of wax. Pandora opens a box containing all of the evils of the world, and only hope remains inside the box. It is a bit sad that even being allies of the gods didn't ensure freedom for anybody. Metis is eaten, and Prometheus is punished eternally for giving fire to humans, his own daughters and sons. Even after releasing all the evils, Zeus was still angry and eradicates almost all bronze humans. Their descendants, the heroic race, decide to venerate the gods without question. In this age, all the stories of demigods exist, but chronologically, after the Odyssey, all heroes like Achilles are dead. And with the end of the heroes, the last era of humanity emerges, and that is the Iron Age. That's us. And with this, so ends our story. When the Iron Age begins, the gods just leave. They abandon humanity forever. It is never explained why, making Greek mythology one of the few religions of the past that never painted a definitive ending. Thanks for watching this video. This is a new project that I'm very proud of, so if you want to keep watching our videos, we have some more that you can watch. and that would make me very happy. Maybe you notice it from my accent, but I'm not a native English speaker. This new project, The Lore Chest, is like a new son of my original channel, El Baúl de los Conocimientos Inútiles. And I'm taking a lot of the videos that I already made in Spanish and like giving it a refreshment, making it a little more actual, up to date, and also, well, trying it in English. It's something very interesting. I'm learning a lot. And well, starting anew is always a challenge. So if you want to help, you can subscribe, you can hit like, all that kind of stuff that old school YouTubers like myself always ask. But I think now it's like a little bit nostalgic, so you can do it again as well. Sorry. And that's it. And thank you so much for watching. And I hope to see you again very soon.